I get a lot of pleasure from talking about Volvo. Their vehicles are actually pretty awesome, like from way back, decades ago. And recently I did a video that I'll put in the description below for you to watch after this, where I show you the build quality of the new electric Volvos. So Volvo have always been fantastic cars to drive, but I think a lot of the engines that they use, like the 5 cylinders, the petrols, the diesels, the turbos, they all broke basically, and the gearboxes were a bit of an issue, which is pretty bad. They're expensive parts of the car to fail, but other than this, they're fantastic cars. So now electric Volvos are coming. They have neither of those two things that keep failing on conventional Volvos. So the new electric Volvos right now in Australia make up 49% of Australian Volvo sales, which is awesome. I really like that. So thank you very much to all of you for joining me again. My name is Ben Alexander and I make EV videos about the news from around the world every day. So if you're watching this, then you'll probably like my other videos. So please consider pressing the subscribe button now for me. And it's free, so why not? Also, thank you very much to the people that support me on Patreon, YouTube memberships, Buy Me a Coffee. They're about $3 each, so that's awesome. That helps me get through the month. In July this year, in 2023, Volvo's electric vehicle sales showed huge growth, almost doubling to 18,702 units. So that represents a 95% year-on-year increase. That is awesome. So that is set to be actually way better than that next year, because most of the current orders on Volvo's books are currently for the EX30, which has not been out in public properly, and you can't go and see one in person, and yet most of the sales on Volvo's books are for this car, which is pretty cool, isn't it? It's kind of like the Tesla. You know, when the Tesla first came out, loads of orders, no one's seen it. And it's very easy to see why, because Volvo is now becoming the car company to pay attention to. Because the new EX30 is quite different. It's rear-wheel drive, always, unless you get the four-wheel drive version. And the slowest version is fast, still, with 272 horsepower. And the price is way cheaper than Volvo's current cheapest version. In Australia, walk out the door for the EX30 is about 65 grand. And then minus any rebates that you can get. So obviously New South Wales is pretty much going to be a no-go for your rebates. Victoria, no-go for your rebates. Queensland, you can currently get 6 grand off, but it's a bit, you might not be able to get it in a month or two. So it's technically a small SUV, but it's only a little bit bigger than the latest Honda Jazz, for example, which is a hatchback, isn't it? So for me, that's perfect. I love that. I really like that. And it looks properly modern Volvo, which is great because they're on point, I think. The range is 480 kilometers if you drive very steady on the motorway, but you'll probably commonly see 400 or 430 or 440, I think. The US market for Volvo, known for its ridiculously competitive automotive industry with a distinct lack of Chinese EVs, saw Volvo's all-electric car sales almost quadruple in June this year, in 2023. So while the brand experienced a dip in sales during the second quarter this year, the overall trajectory for the year remained super good. Right until the end of the year, it looks like it's just going to keep going. So that emphasizes the brand's strong foothold, a bit of following, I think, in the American market. People have been hanging out, I think, for a cheaper electric Volvo. It seems like they've just been waiting. And the American market represents a huge portion of the world. So that is a big deal. Globally, Volvo reported a 33% year-on-year rise in June sales. So compared to last year, for all of their vehicles, with a significant boost from its fully electric cars, obviously. After a successful 2022, where the company doubled its EV sales and achieved its highest revenue total ever, Volvo continued its momentum into the beginning of this year, in 2023. In regions like South Africa, Volvo even topped the premium C SUV electric vehicles sales in the first half of the year, with sales growing by 145%, which is crazy cool, I think. So if you thought Volvo had basically buggered off, you were a bit wrong, I think. Because I thought, I look forward to when Volvo start coming out and they're electric, but now it's kind of here and they're doing so well. So I'm now starting to see Volvos on a daily basis here in Brisbane. So not as much as Teslas, but a fair few. And in 2 or 3 years, you're going to see so many of the new EX30 Volvos, it's going to be shocking. No pun intended. The thing to note with the new Volvos is that if you can afford to, get the four-wheel drive version so you don't feel the silly torque steer, which, to be honest, can feel a bit dangerous if you just get the front-wheel drive version. So it's not a lot more money, and I know some people regret it when they don't, and then they drive around and they think, ugh, I wish I would have got the four-wheel drive version. So if you think you might be one of those people, get the four-wheel drive version. Also, the EX30 is either, obviously, like I said, rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. Absolutely perfect, I think. I would just grab the big battery, single motor, and be done with it. Drive it for 10 years, stick a couple 100,000 Ks on it, sell it, get a new car in 10 years. And I think this would be an awesome thing to do if you have the ability to get an EX30. It's also worth noting that Volvo will be EV only by 2026 or so. So the new BYD Seal will be upon us here in Australia very, very soon, actually, any day now. And the price for that will be around 65,000 Aussie dollars, I suspect. And that will be very competitive, but should be coming with a standard 82 kilowatt hour battery, although I wouldn't be surprised if they just offer us a smaller battery, like a 52 kilowatt hour version, to save a few dollars on their part. But it is meant to come with the 82 kilowatt hour battery only in Australia. That's all you can get. So with any luck, they will stick to that. That's what I hope. And then that car will sell like crazy. So the question is, though, how much will it end up costing? Because everyone expects it to be cheaper. And in fact, I ran a poll 2 weeks ago, I'll put it on the screen now for you, asking you all how much you think it will cost. More or less than a Tesla Model 3, and 72% of you said you think it will be cheaper than the Model 3. But actually, when you convert the Chinese cost and play with the numbers to bring it here and look at the history that's happening with the other cars around in the market, it actually seems it'll be more expensive. I expect $65,000, maybe 65, maybe up to 70 at the door, and then minus your rebate. But if that comes to Australia for under 60k, it will sell like there's no tomorrow, I reckon. Also, a year ago, there really wasn't many cars for $60,000 or under in Australia, but now we have a small selection, and this time next year we will have a few more. So because of the landscape of EV competition changing so much, I think it's possible that it will come under 60,000 simply because there are other cars competing, trying to take customers' money. That is how it's kind of worked in the last year, for example, with the MG4, Dolphin, things like that. So they originally intended releasing the BYD Seal in October, and then they said they're going to move it forward to August, and then back again now to September, which is now the middle of September. So now it should be any day, but complete silence. Obviously, EV Direct made the deal where I think they sold like 90% of their business to another company in Australia where they have massive car selling warehouses. So now EV Direct is largely owned by another company, but they've just opened up their first EV mega store in Sydney this weekend, just gone. So they now have the cars on show in Sydney. You can go see them, and I'll let you know as soon as possible when it is released and I get to go to the event, the opening event, and I get the email. I'm still waiting for that. So I will go to that, but I'll steer away from the churros because the last open launch for the BYD Dolphin was such an awesome night. It was like a fantastic party. Huge amounts of free food and drinks. Most things that you could possibly want. Music, lights, loads of people. Really, really cool atmosphere. Cool event. My mistake was having a few glasses of wine when I got there, even though I almost don't drink alcohol at all. And I ate about 3 dinners and 2 desserts and about 2 overly sugar-coated churros. And when I got home, I woke up feeling like death at 3 a.m, vomiting. But other than that, really awesome. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider clicking the like button for me so that YouTube know that people enjoy my videos, and please consider subscribing for more daily videos about electric vehicles.